Hey, everybody, welcome back to another Facebook Live. We are here today with Kim Chaffin of Washington. You are not, what is your city out there?
I'm Colbert, Washington.
Where's that by?
I am literally a couple of miles right outside of Spokane. So I'm Eastern Washington, right by the Idaho border.
Right. And you are one of our featured speakers at womenspeakers.com. For a long time, you've been with us. And also, you are the author of a book called Simply Blessed, Finding Joy in the Little Things. And that's a 31-day devotional. And you guys can learn more about Kim at her website, which is heartfeltramblings.com and or over at womenspeakers.com under the Washington state or by her name, of course. So great to have you here. And I'm excited to pick your brain a little bit about some of your favorite quotes that you have, things that, come to your mind frequently as the days and weeks go by. And so let's just dive right in with that one. God is an all-you-can-eat buffet.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. His buffet is open. No calories when you dig in, and whatever you need, you can serve it up every day. If you need a double helping of grapes one day, he'll give it to you. If you need strength on another day, you just step right up to the buffet and you grab whatever you need.
That is a really cool way to think about it. I think about like going to a buffet, and sometimes you're hungry for one thing or another. It's like not the same every time. And that's really how it is with our walk with Christ. Yes. It's really different, and it's really awesome that we can just have as much as we need.
And there's no calories either. How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's so true. Another thing I think about it's such a great analogy. There's a lot of depth to it. And I was thinking about how beautiful some of the buffet food is laid out, so beautiful. Like the fruit buffet is just colorful and, bursting with color. And with God too, a lot of things that he offers us are so beautiful. They're just, This is where I want to be. This is what I want to look at. I love that. Yep. I love that. There is lots of game left.
Oh, okay. There's lots of game left. Have you ever watched a basketball game and you might be down to 60 seconds left in the game and your team is down? Well, I hear my husband say it all the time. There's lots of game left. And while praying, God reminded me of that. When you feel like everything's kind of closing in around you in 60 seconds in a basketball game, if a lot can happen, then holy cow, a lot can happen with God in 60 seconds or whatever God's timing is. And you can trust that.
I remember one time years ago, probably 20 years ago, I was feeling so disappointed because God was taking such a long time answering my prayers. And I felt like, this is just never going to happen. And I remember a friend told me something real similar to that. She said, you're only like on chapter 10 or something. It's a long book. And just this concept that, just relax. There's time. God's got it. The schedule's not done being run yet. That is so cool. So when was the recent time you actually applied that to your life?
Actually, I just wrote something for the Whatever Girls Ministry. I'm a contributor for their website.
Okay.
And so it's going to be coming out very soon. I just recently turned that in. And then I used it at a speaking event last weekend. So it's been one of those ones really in the forefront of my mind lately. So
yeah, and it's just real memorable. There's lots of game left. I think of especially football. Man, that last 60 seconds, 90 seconds can go on forever.
It can.
Cool. We are perfectly imperfect.
We are perfectly imperfect. If you think about it, if we were perfect, we would not need Jesus. But I see that through Jesus, because of his perfection, we are perfectly imperfect in him. In our imperfection, that he is more glorified because we realize how much we need him. And as a matter of fact, that's funny. I just made a video of that this morning to send out for something else.
Huh, that's cool. Yeah, perfectly imperfect. And I think that there's just a lot of the grace comes through on that one a lot. I always say I can live without a lot of things, but I can't live without grace.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's the grace that allows us perfectly imperfect because he is perfect.
In his perfection. I love that. That's beautiful. You can rest there. God is in the mundane.
God is in the most mundane things, like a pile of laundry. I was ironing one day and I had a sour attitude about that. And God just showed up and said, you know what? You have a roof over your head. You have a husband that has a job that allows you to stay home. And my sour attitude was turned around and I prayed for my husband as I ironed his shirts. And I've learned that God is in the mundane. We just need to open our eyes to see him. He's there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell a story when I'm speaking. I have a story about the one day that I was going out to pick the beans for Dave, and I hate gardening. But Dave's a great gardener. And so he had asked me before he went to work, would you pick the beans today? And I was hoping I was too busy, but then there was just the perfect time that I had to go out and pick the beans, Yeah. So I grabbed my bucket and my bad attitude and out I went to the garden to pick the beans. And I'm picking the beans and I'm griping about everything. And it wasn't like I heard God talk to me, but almost, because the thought in my head was so different than anything going on. And the thought was, Marnie, is there nothing for which you can be thankful? And it took I stopped because it was so different than what was going on in my head. And I was like, yes, I'm sure there must be. And I started thinking about, well, it's a gorgeous day and I have health enough to do this. And I do love Dave and all this. And as I got down the path there, picking the beans, there was one bean plant that was hanging there, and on it was his wedding ring. He had lost it in the garden years before. It had grown up out of the ground onto the bean plant and was hanging there. And this was like 3 days before our 10th anniversary. So, it was so mundane and it was so miserable. And God was in it. And he just taught me, just whatever it feels like, you said, ironing, whatever it feels, just know that God's in it. And you're praying for your husband while you iron. I mean, there's eternal reward in that. He takes everything.
Yeah. I found him one day. I was very angry actually at my son because he left his wet towel on the floor, which that kind of bothered me, Mom. And as I picked it up and I was angry about it, God just showed right up there in that mundane moment with the towel and reminded me, you shouldn't have even been able to carry a child and you have two. So be blessed that you have a towel to even clean up after a child. And I counted that dirty towel as a blessing because God just showed right up there at that moment. And I realized that he's in those things and we often just get so busy we look past him. He's there.
He isn't. And I know years ago too, and I know this happened for you too, Kim, as that I remember when I was changing diapers and I was like, this is just so mundane, that it's a great word, mundane. And it's just like, so, what could benefit other than, of course, the kids clean butt, but beyond that. But God just showed me that no matter what we do, if we do it with him and for him, to him and through him, it is all for eternal value. Even changing a diaper, it doesn't matter what we're doing. It matters who we're doing it with. That's all that matters.
Amen. Yes, that's it right there.
Wow, so cool. Okay. Don't Pinterest Jesus out of, the season or anything.
Think about that. You can get like in the Christmas season, you can get so wrapped up in the perfect Christmas card, the perfect decorations, and how's your food laid out for maybe a Christmas party. We want everything to be so Pinterest perfect, and I am not picking on Pinterest. I get on Pinterest, but I think that we can get so wrapped up in the details that we Pinterest Jesus out of the things, and that can be applied all year round. We just need to be careful that we're not trying so hard to have this picture perfect life that we forget that Jesus is there with us. And we've got to be including him in everything. And I actually just incorporated that into something over the weekend with some young moms. Don't live a picture perfect life. Don't Pinterest them out.
It's the Pharisee. I mean, that's what looking all together all the time. I've got no problems. I'm so glad I'm so perfect compared to everybody else.
That's a great way to put that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jesus was perfect. But everybody else, and honestly, I love the Bible for this. I love the Bible that it tells everybody's dirty laundry all the way through it. It doesn't pull a punch. I mean, the worse it is, the more it's going to get in there. And God just loves messed up people. That's who he loves. We're all messed up, and he just loves us so much. That's cool. God is like a pair of comfy sweatpants or a warm and fuzzy pair of socks.
I live in the Pacific Northwest, and it's freezing cold out here. So I get up every morning and I slide into my warm and fuzzy socks, and they're comfy. And that's how I think of God. I think we can approach him because he's comfortable, but we make him hard in our humanness. And he's a God of relationship, not religion. He's comfortable, easy to slip into, is what I like to say. So I like to curl up with my fuzzy socks and a blanket and just say, God, sit down with me. And I pat on the couch next to me. Sit down with me. Be with me. And that's who he me.
That's so cool. I recently heard something and I thought it was really profound, and I really am still working through it myself, but maybe you can address it too. So someone was talking and he said, for the longest time, I thought that Jesus was saving me from God. And now I realize that Jesus is saving me from sin. And it's like, whoa, because like what you said, we have this harsh, hard vision of God sometimes, that he's so big and he's this, mean, judgmental, angry God. And it's not, he is able to judge for sure. And he is the judge. But to a child of his, to a believer, someone who's come to him through the blood of Jesus Christ, his son, there is so much love and compassion there.
Yes. And if you think about, I like to put him in the perspective of how I would approach my parents. I love my parents. I respect my parents, but they gently guided me and corrected me when I needed. And that's the way God is. So why can't I run to God like I could run to one of my parents for a hug when I needed something or direction and guidance? And that's God to me. And I do think we get that so mixed up, that he's some all-powerful thing. It's not like he's, Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, where she's approaching God, the wizard, this all-powerful being that she was scared of and she was timid. No, this is God. We just up him, and here I am, and here's what's hurting me. And he says, great, come to me. I want to hear this. I want to be with you. I want to hold you. And the way that you described what that man said, for a while, I think I was actually kind of in that spot. I've never heard it like that, but
I know I hadn't either. And I think sometimes I still get there. Like I'm just a little afraid to just, really be me. I remember years ago, talking to my sister about something. I kept falling into the same sin trap over and over and over again. And she said, well, just while you're in it, cry out to God. And I thought, I can't do that. He's not stupid. I mean, that's kind of disrespectful. I have to get my act together before I talk to him again. She's like, no. You don't understand. He wants us to come to him in the midst of our struggle, just like you said, like a parent would want their struggling child to come to them. And even if the child had done it over and over again, if they're truly in pain or have a need, what parent doesn't want to still have them come?
Right. And God is full of so much mercy and grace that if you don't get it right the first time, you have to go back to him, and the third or the fourth time. He just keeps working you through that process until you do. And then he just keeps loving you. And he looks past it. I think he looks past it when we say, forgive me. We're the ones that keep running back and picking it up. I mean, I wouldn't take my garbage out to the street, drop it off, and then go back and pick something up from it. But why do we do that when we let go of our sin? We run back out and we bring it back in. And we don't need to be doing that.
Right.
It's garbage.
And what Jesus said to the disciples, how many times should I forgive? He said 70 times 7. 490 times. And so when we're going back to God for our 14th time or whatever, or even our 400th time on the same issue, this is what Jesus said we're supposed to do, because that's what God does. And he doesn't just stop at 490. I mean, he has forgiveness for us for as long as it takes. There's this amazing depth of forgiveness that's available to us. Oh my goodness. Yep. Well, this time always goes so fast. Kim, do you have a favorite Bible verse or a theme verse for life?
Wow, it kind of varies so many from time to time.
Absolutely.
But he reached down from high and drew me out of deep waters. It's Psalms 18:16. And I kind of land back on that one a lot, because I know that he did reach down from high and he drew me out of deep waters. And I watched him draw family and friends out of deep waters. And then my other one is Exodus 14:14, to just stand still and God will fight for you. Those are my two, I think, if I had to pick two.
Oh, those are awesome. Really good. And I love them both. And I love to remind myself about the stand still. A lot of times, we're all about being and doing. And God says, just stand and be for a little bit. And I'm going to do the doing for you this time. So fantastic. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And you guys can learn more about Kim at her website, heartfeltramblings.com, or over at womenspeakers.com. Click on Washington State and you'll find her there. Otherwise, you can type her name into the search bar at the top right. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.